Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently kicking the Germans out of the Pacific here. They're very close to being removed from the Pacific right now. They've got this little bit of Japan here that they're being removed from as we speak. They've been already removed from Korea, and we're currently heading in to remove them from Okinawa. Now we're a little bit concerned about the status of them in India. There's no doubt about that, but for the moment, we are also a little concerned about this front. We can't really open up a second front right now, although we are going to be able to once we get some of this recruited. So for the moment, I'm not going to be planning to cancel any of these. We are instead going to raise them up over here and start up a second front army. So that's going to be what we're going to do for the time being. We're digging in over here. We're reasonably dug in at this point. How's our construction going? It's getting close. Okay. We're going to continue to work on our infrastructure over here. But very, very soon, we're going to have this good to go. And I'm not planning on pushing over here just yet. I'm currently thinking that our plan is going to be to re-attack India. That is the goal. But first, we need to take Okinawa. And we have some units arriving up over here. They'll be there pretty soon. We'll be ready to launch this in about 14 days, 2 weeks. Sure. So we'll wait on that, and we are continuing to construct over on this side. It's looking good as far as our supplies go, broadly. Our supplies are broadly looking good. And we're going to be finishing up our land forts down here reasonably soon. 31 October for this level. Yeah. It's going to take a while to get that last level built. But that is definitely looking good. It's looking like, yeah, India capitulated. I'm not surprised about that. They capitulated to Estonia. Okay, that's actually the German Empire. Looks good. So we're just letting them push back up to like Calcutta over here. They're making some big gains there. Our previous invasion happened, I believe, here. And we set up defenses along this mountain range here. Like, that was our initial, or actually, this was our initial defensive line. We're probably going to look to revisit that. We know that it's already well set up to support an invasion there. So I think that that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, things are looking decent here. Oh, we have a recruitment done. Excellent. We're going to pop these into a new army for now, and we're just not going to give them orders for the moment. I want Okinawa to fall soon. The Germans over here have basically no supply flow except for the tiny amount that they get from this victory point. So this should all be completely good. And we're ready to launch this in a week. So we're going to kick them out of the Pacific entirely, very shortly. Singapore hasn't fallen yet. But it should. Very soon. We're going to keep an eye on that. Singapore falling is a big deal. This over here is a fairly big deal as well. I suppose we could tell these guys, we could get them a commander, like, say, this fine gentleman here, and we could tell them, oh, we don't actually have access with State of Japan, do we? We can get that, and we can tell this fine gentleman, come on over here and help out with this, with his overall plan being to just kick them out of here. We'll not tell him to execute it just yet, but he is going to start heading on over. Okay, cool. Now, I don't necessarily think, well, this is 10 and 10. How many total do we need? Quite a lot is the answer. I was thinking about canceling these and having the manpower, because that took from our manpower pool. I was thinking about canceling them and having them be a little different, but I think it'll be okay. We'll have to sort things out after these tanks get trained up. And there will be a number of them that need to get trained up, but that's fine. So we can go ahead and execute this right now. And off we go. So we're going to take Okinawa here, is the idea. Hopefully we actually get it. I want to check in over this way. It seems like they're just allowing us to stalemate this, which is exactly what I want. I would love to stalemate this and just dig in super duper hard here. I think that that should probably be a higher priority, but it's okay. It doesn't actually matter at this point. So we're going to start working on our railroad connections in the back line there pretty soon as well. How's Okinawa looking? Completely undefended? Yes. It is looking completely and totally undefended. Cool. So there was no one at Okinawa. Well, that makes that very simple. And now we need to think about an attack over here. But the Germans are clearly pressing very hard on this front. Very hard indeed. But with roughly half the number of the divisions that they used to have. They do have 2 million manpower right now. Wow. Okay, that number has come up dramatically. And I think that's because they took over all of India, is my guess. Okay. That's fine for the moment. We don't have the forces right now to launch an invasion of India. But we definitely want to see the Germans kicked entirely out of the Pacific. And we should be arriving up here somewhat soonish. But it looks like they're going to be kicked out before we get there, doesn't it? It does look like that. Yeah. They're going to fall here very quickly. There we go. So no need to come here. That's under control. I'm actually going to, well, we have 12 units of infantry here and 3 units. Okay, so this would actually be correct. So we just need tanks in this army at this point. I'd like to do a jump off point from here. And we would prepare an invasion from here to, as we did before, right here. We're not going to immediately launch that invasion. That is not the plan. I want to check in on our... Right, we took off the Red Sea because the Suez Canal has been demolished and cannot be traversed by ships, and we control it, and we are not working on repairing it. Okay. It looks like they're working a bit in the Gulf of Guinea. Is this German? It is. If we were to take that, that would be a pretty big deal. Unitary Canada up here. Yeah. I'm just checking to see. Yeah, that all looks good. Taking this would not be a bad plan. That would mean that this would then be the nearest German naval base. We could take that as well. Which would then mean that the mainland up here would be the nearest naval base. Cool. But we definitely want to wait here. And I want to pull this navy, instead of being... Let's see. It was these guys. Instead of being up here, I want them to be here in the Bay of Bengal. There. Fantastic. So the Germans are making huge gains over here. We're going to have to do something about that. I'm just thinking about how we might hold this if we were to push forward and take Turkey. The answer is, if we could take up to here, or even just up to here, and hold this crossing, that would be a much more defensible position, and then we could have a line here. So we'd have like 1.5 armies here and like half of an army here. This is a possibility. So we instantly have 100% naval supremacy here. And here's the idea. We do a blanket nuke across this line. And that will do an enormous amount of damage to these guys. We could even launch a second blanket nuke. And then launch our attack. Kaboom. So now we launch a second blanket nuke all across this front. I have a hard time seeing through the smoke, but we'll let that clear a little bit and launch a second blanket nuke all the way across here. Like so. And then the idea would be we let that nuke go off as well. Kaboom. And now we launch an offensive line that is basically all the way up to this coast. Essentially annexing Turkey would be the play here. We go in aggressively attacking. We know for a fact that they have devoted a lot of troops to here. They have to have. So we are going to attack extremely heavily here. And they're not going to be able to hold this off. There's no way. They're just going to crumble for the next while. And that's exactly what we want. So in we go. Now, we're going to have a couple of issues here. We definitely need to begin work on connecting this railway system. Top priority. Our railways and their railways currently do not connect. We need to fix this. So we will get started on that. We have huge advantages in this push right now. The question is just how much of Turkey can we take before they can move in fresh troops? Also, how many airplanes did they move in? Answer, a lot. And we are going to yield the skies. Cool. We already did the damage that we needed. So in we go. And realistically, we don't need to continue to work on this defensive line. So I'm going to cancel all of that. And we are going to continue to work on all of this railway here. Eventually, we're going to need to get other constructions built over here. But that's fine. I really want to bisect their forces here. So we're going to head up to Trabzon. Cool. So their forces are now officially bisected. So we're going to delete this order. We're going to grab the units that are assigned here and tell them that their goal is to offensive line to here. These units, their goal is to offensive line approximately to here for now. And they can go ahead and execute that as well. Now the question is, how long before fresh troops arrive and we can't push any further? And that is quite a question, and we're going to need to work on some rail lines. Let's see. Okay, I'm not sure what that's indicating there. What this line is indicating. But we definitely need to build a rail line up like this. And we also need to connect in that. That's very, very high priority. So we'll get started on that. And this will be great. Okay, they still have a lot of of air units up here. This is not surprising. We are connected into their rail network at this point, but I want to check in on the levels of this rail network. Okay, and we're still working on converting significant portions of it, which is fine. And if we end up having to fall back to this defensive line, we know that it's a good fallback point, right? So that'll be fine. And for the moment, we are just working on pushing up. I'd like this unit to, like, move up like that. I think that would be decent. We are starting to see some fresh-ish units making their way over here. Our gains are starting to slow, but we're still doing well. And that's exactly what we want. Cool. So we've almost achieved our goals on this front. Now, logistics over here are going to become a potential concern. There's already a supply hub here, which I will very happily motorize. And I think that can reach all the way down here. I also want to motorize this supply hub and this supply hub. Cool. And we're just going to continue to push in, and essentially, we're looking to take over all of Turkey with this push. That is our goal. And it's looking good. In fact, it's looking very good. This front is looking maybe a little less good. Some actual Turkish units have arrived down over here. And I want to check in on our logistics over here. Yeah, there's a lot of conversion going on. And I also want to make sure that we have a rail line built like this. And potentially even one like this. So let's get those rail lines built up. And that'll be fine. We're also going to have to start digging in on this front. So I want to see, first off, there is a connection right here. So obviously taking Batumi is very good for us. Let's go ahead and start working on that. Because Batumi is going to be a fantastic position for us to take. Okay. So we're pushing beyond our front a little bit here. I don't necessarily love that. Let's see. This is not impassable up here. Okay. So I do want to see us continue to push in over this way. And over here. As far as this front goes, we're stalled out a little bit more, I feel like. But we are still making gains, so I think it's okay. But we should definitely continue to work on our logistics up here. There's no doubt about that. Our logistics are going to be okay, I think. Although I'd love to have a, like, backup railway going this route here. But that's a relatively low priority railway. Okay, let's get that going for now. And it's looking reasonable. At this point, I'm going to have this guy back off to cautious. Cool. I do want to take this location. Come on in here. These guys are defending right now. That looks good. The reason I want to take this location is because it's the last location of Turkey over... Hello, pause menu. It's the last location of Turkey over here. And I'm going to get rid of this order here. Cool. So we will let this front stabilize over here. This side, we still want to keep going. I'd love to push into Ankara. But this is looking like a pretty decent attack here. But we definitely need to slow down a bit and allow some logistics to get caught up. So as far as this over here goes, I think we're going to... Is this... This hub should be motorized. I'm not sure if I did, though. Okay, let's motorize that hub, and that should get resources out over this way. Cool. So we should be pretty good supplies-wise on this front. We will stabilize this, and I would love to see at least 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'm going to Alt or Control click to place it at the beginning of the queue. 1, 2, 3. We don't need to go too much beyond 3. And we're just going to dig in all along this front. I don't want to continue pushing over here just yet. Okay, I want to have a good solid fallback line here. We've already got 1 fort here, so we can back that one off to 2. Cool. So we'll get started on that, although Tripoli is still a very high priority, and building in some of these railways is as well, but we do have a decent connection up here, I think. This is unconnected. Okay, so this railway right here is high priority. Beyond that, I think that the other railways can wait for a little bit. Except for maybe, like, this connection here. Let's see here. Yes, this one. So we'll get those 2 built, and we're now going to dig in on this front. And that looks good. So we'll get that started. On this front out over here, we're going to continue to push in a little bit. We would love to tank Ankara, but for the moment, I'm okay with just letting this be. Although we may want to back this guy off to careful. And we may want to manually manage some of this. Okay. Take this position. It's undefended. I want to check in on logistics over here. Yeah, it's grim in this area, and that's because we don't have any connection to this supply hub. That will get fixed soon, because we are working on that right here. So 23 February, that will allow us to distribute supplies out to here, which we can motorize. And we're already connected over here, and we can motorize that. Cool. So we're only cautiously attacking here right now. I want to bring this tank unit in. And this tank unit in as well. There we go. So we took a huge swath of Turkey there. That's for sure. The question is, can we hold it? I think the answer to that is likely yes. I'm going to take all of these that are level 2 at this point and move them down in the priority. We want at least a level 1 in all of this. So we'll get that started. And getting those railways connected in is going to be a very big deal. So we'll get that started. We are going to push in here for sure. We're going to get pushed back here. I think that's okay. Yeah, and we may want to wait here for a brief time, or maybe take like this location. For a brief time. No, I don't think we want to wait. I think for the time being, this is okay. We're just cautiously attacking here. We are getting a lot of defensive bonuses here. So that looks good. Our rail lines are going to be connected soon. We definitely need to move some of these 3s up. There we go. Okay. So we're digging in on that front. On this front, we're still pushing, but it's going to be somewhat slow. Yeah, they're still insurmountable in the air, but that's fine. We took a huge amount of territory there. Absolutely enormous. And that's great. I'm very, very happy about that. The question is, how much more can we take? They are getting fresh units out over here. We can continue to press in, but our biggest concern right now is logistics. We need to get some of these logistics upgraded. But it's not as high priority, I think, as digging in on this front is. There's going to need to be work here. But we'll queue that up later, I think. So things are calming down a bit after that big push. And with that, I think it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get these units trained up and hopefully launch our invasion of India, as well as continuing to press into Turkey. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, JJ Gamer, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, Atala, Jensgram, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.